Welcome back to the Talk Healing to Me podcast. I'm your host, Karen Dwyer, and this is your solo episode, just you and me, reflecting on the incredible conversation I had with the brilliant Valeria Lopez, founder of Wise Food Solutions, hormone and weight loss coach, and someone who has transformed the way I think about nourishment, metabolism, and womanhood for that matter. This conversation cracked something open, not just in me, but in so many of our MS to Success clients and our listeners. We've gotten a lot of emails about this one, so I'll read those out at the end. Thanks for sending those in. I feel very privileged that our clients have gotten to work with her and that I've gotten to work with Valeria as well. So, in this episode, I want to take you through the 10 biggest takeaways from our conversation, things that I believe every woman deserves to know.
This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always consult your doctor. Views shared are personal and not a substitute for professional guidance.
So, the first one, hormones are not the enemy. They're your superpower. So we've been taught to fear our hormones. Well, I certainly have. When anybody mentions that M word or hormones or that time of the month, it's like seen as, oh my God, it's bad and it's wrong and it's troublesome, and to fight them. But the truth is they are the elegant messengers of our inner world, and our hormones speak for us, as Valeria said. They don't sabotage us. And when we learn to listen, we unlock power, clarity, and healing. I really loved that. Valeria really had for me switched the whole thing on its head. And it's certainly a conversation that I'm sure if you're listening and you're female, you've probably been privy to, whether it's hearing someone say, oh, is it that time of the month? Or, oh, are your hormones at you? And it's kind of said in a derogatory way. But actually, it really is our superpower, and being able to be with them and know how to really work with them instead of against them, which is what Valeria has taught me. I won't say that I fully mastered it yet, but definitely a whole other approach and relationship with them for sure. The second thing was eat to heal. Don't starve to shrink. So for too long, we've treated food like the enemy, but you don't heal through restriction. You heal through nourishment. Goodness, I wish I knew that in my 20s. So eating enough is not indulgent, it's the baseline. So if your body is starved, it can't thrive. I've seen it with my own clients, I've seen it with myself. That idea of, that intermittent fasting, or I won't eat that because then it'll be, but actually, what then we see is the body doesn't actually function correctly. If it's not fueled, if it doesn't have enough protein, if it doesn't have enough water or enough rest for that matter. The third option, or the third point rather, is the real root cause is often in your environment, not in your body. So we jump to blame ourselves, our bodies, our age, maybe a diagnosis. But what if you're responding perfectly to a world that's pushing you too hard? So with the question that Valeria said, let's ask what around me needs to shift, not what in me is broken. Honestly, I think, and this is something I mentioned on the episode, sometimes it can be really uncomfortable to take that look at ourselves, what's working and what's not. One of the questions that we do in our Friday wind up, it's kind of like a reflection piece and a planning piece for the following week. One of the questions that I ask, and that I ask our clients to ask of themselves every week is, if you look at what you did last week, what is it that you want to keep, improve, start, or stop doing? And so sometimes, it's only when we stop to look and realize, oh God, I've been operating quite a long time scrolling on my phone at night, or not eating enough during the day, or skipping lunch, or going to bed really late because you didn't get a chance to have a rest or you time during the day. But actually, those things kind of build up and then have, they wreak havoc on our nervous system and on our hormones as well. So, taking that look around environment, it might not be comfortable, but it's certainly going to give you the gold that is likely going to make a difference for you. The fourth point was fatigue is wisdom, not laziness. So, I mentioned to Valeria, how do you know the difference between I really don't want to go to the gym versus, I need a rest. My body actually needs a rest. So she mentioned that tiredness isn't failure, it's feedback. So your body is asking you to slow down. And what if we started treating exhaustion as intelligence instead of weakness? And I thought that was very, very smart indeed. One of the points that she mentioned as well was, if your body is, carrying extra weight, as an example, it's likely telling you that your body needs to slow down. And your body is doing that to have you do that. So whether it's our mind racing or our body physically running around and doing a lot of things, I thought it was I'd never heard it presented in that way before, and certainly made me have a look differently. Look, I'll hold up my hand. I definitely rush around too much. My motto for this year, or my kind of new self care, was giving myself enough time to do everything. Do I do that all the time? No. I'd say I'm probably improved maybe 50%, but there's a lot left to be desired with that for sure, as a mom and business owner and coach and things like that as well. But look, it's all part of the learning. So the fifth point, all calories are not equal. So nourishment is everything. So Valeria was talking about 1,000 calories of whole, vibrant food is not the same as 1,000 calories of processed junk. So it's time to stop counting and start fueling with protein and fat and fiber and color. A lot of people think, oh God, I don't want to eat fats or I don't want to eat oils. Like olive oil and extra virgin olive oil is some of the best things you can eat. And we're led to believe the opposite in a lot of ways. So, good fats and good quality food rather than junk food every step of the way, even though those cravings might be there. But, like Valeria said, sometimes it's then looking back, well, why am I craving that pizza? Why am I craving that? And it might be not hydrated enough from the day before. It might be stress or lack of sleep, or any of those. So, getting curious about the last 48 hours and why that craving might be there could be a good step to follow. The sixth one, and I love this simplicity: sunlight and sleep are free medicine. So, you want a hormone reset? Step outside in the morning, watch the sunset, and sleep in rhythm with the earth. It costs nothing and changes everything. Dr. Michael Bruce and also Anne Marie Boyhan talk about this as well. Getting out in the morning and, taking off sunglasses or taking off your spectacles, where did that word come from? Taking those off and letting the sunlight hit your eyes. So when you do that first thing in the morning, it sets up your circadian rhythm for 14 hours later for that melatonin to start producing again. So it's really important to have those systems working with each other. And so simplistic. Imagine getting sunlight in the morning, afternoon, and evening for 10 minutes each time can help you lose weight. I mean, yes, please. Not that losing weight is everything, but let's be honest, I want an easy way. Let me speak for myself. The seventh point, support your body instead of fighting it. Again, this is a common theme throughout all of our practitioners and the MS to Success programs. The goal isn't to dominate your body into submission, it's to partner with it, to listen, to rest, and to move in ways that feel kind. That's how healing happens. It's not the forcing or the go hard or go home type approach. One of the, well, probably two phrases that we often, certainly all the practitioners always talk about, is slowing down in order to speed up, and slow and steady wins the race. And it may sound really cliche, but it really is the thing. And sometimes it's hard to see that ourselves when we're leading a busy life and trying to fit everything and everyone in.
This episode of Talk Healing to Me is sponsored by Clean Boss, created by Joy Mangano, the legendary inventor behind the Miracle Mop and a pioneer in clean innovation. Clean Boss is a botanical disinfectant that kills 99.9% of viruses, germs, and bacteria. It's safe for food surfaces, soft surfaces, and baby high chairs with no toxic ingredients and no rinse required. It's also a degreaser, odor eliminator, and all-purpose cleaner that works as hard as the chemical heavy stuff without the health risks. Check it out at getcleanboss.com/Karen for a clean, better, and living safer life.
The eighth point is kind of similar to this one. It's do less, but do it with intention. So healing doesn't require hustle, it requires intention. So you may not need to do more, you may need to do less, but do it with love, with honesty, and with support. I'd mentioned the my biggest self care is giving enough time. I'm going to repeat it again. I know it's the second time I've said it in this episode, but I think probably I need to hear it. But maybe somebody that's listening to this needs to hear it as well. So with that honesty, with the support for yourself as well. The ninth point was cravings are clues, not failure. So we've been taught to fear cravings, but they are invitations to investigate. So do you need a mineral like magnesium? Magnesium glycinate is the one I take at night because it helps muscles relax and it helps to de-stress. That's not an invitation to do that. Obviously, take your own advice. It's not medical advice. Is it maybe a break that you need? Is it a hug? Let's ask the question before we judge the impulse. And you don't have to be going out and buying lots of things. Maybe it's really just the slowing down. The 10th and final point is you deserve to feel good. right now. This is something Sarah Griffiths also echoed. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to fix yourself or to deserve food or pleasure or peace. You're worthy today. And that worthiness is your starting point. Um, We've had quite a few listener emails. So before I share this week's amazing client wins, I want to read out a few messages we've received from you, our listeners, about this episode with Valeria. So these notes mean the world to us. And they remind me that when one woman tells the truth, it opens the door for so many others. So Sheila in Galway in Ireland said, I just finished listening to your conversation with Valeria and I'm in tears. For the first time, I feel like someone is speaking directly to my experience. I've been so hard on myself. Thank you both for showing me another way. Oh, amazing, Sheila. Amazing, amazing. And I haven't seen these yet because we just loaded them up as we're about to record this. So beautiful. Thanks for sending that in. Denise in Toronto in Canada said that episode was a game changer. I've heard a million people talk about hormones, but Valeria made it finally make sense. I went outside in the sun this morning for the first time in ages and it felt like a reset. Thank you. Well, thank you, Denise, for sending that in. Carla in Austin in Texas, how cool, says, I loved how real and refreshing that was. No fluff, no shame, just honesty and actual steps I can take. Please bring Valeria back. We will. We will. And she's in our program. And of course, she runs her own program as well. Very lucky to have her in MS to Success. Siobhan in Derry in Northern Ireland says, I've shared this episode with 3 of my friends already, and we all said the same thing. Wish we'd heard this 10 years ago. So if you're listening and this conversation has touched you, please feel free to write in and share the episode with someone who needs it. That ripple of healing, you are a part of it. The email address is podcast@talkhealingtome.com. Now, our wins, our client wins before we go this week. So, T improved posture and core balance, and she's sitting taller and stronger. Taya is one of our seated clients, and she is now able to transfer easier after 2 full nights of 8 hours sleep. So she's feeling more mobile and at bedtime too. Zed said she sees toe lifting in her left foot, something that she couldn't do before, and she listened to her hormones, took a rest from strength training, and is now her walking is now smoother post doing our workouts. Like, how amazing is that? And I feel like it's very reflective of the conversation that we had with Valeria. Jay, who's in the UK, said big change in bed mobility. She can now lift her leg without needing the headboard or help. And she's broken the lifelong pattern of staying up too late. She's going to bed earlier and feeling the difference. One thing that she said actually on our movement call on Tuesday was that her husband actually noticed, and she said, "Oh, I think he probably was holding back from saying it because he didn't want to kind of overshoot." But he said, "Are you getting in and out of bed easier?" And she said, "Yes, I am." One of the things our clients often say, particularly, and Jay is only in the program a few weeks, like, or maybe a couple of months at this point. But I remember her saying over the past few weeks, "God, I want to say this out loud, but I'm afraid if I say it, that it won't last, or those wins will go away." And that doesn't happen. And that's why we do it over a longer period of time so that they're lifelong lasting results, not just a fly by the seat of your pants, go and train and learn this over a weekend. We don't work with anyone for less than 4 months, ideally 6, so that you can build up these patterns, this lifestyle upgrade. A said she has 2 full nights sleep without going to use the bathroom, something she hasn't done in years. Plus, she completed 3 movement sessions in a day. Talk about energy rising. I love it. I love it. S, who's in the States, said she stayed consistent. Now, you may have heard me talk about S over the last little while. She's coming up to a big birthday and she has a 30-day challenge, and she's stayed consistent with that movement challenge, even when life threw her curveballs. That is the kind of resilience that is built when you build those results. And M is now doing her movement plan twice a day, and it's getting easier and noticing a distinct boost in her energy, flow, and joy. And these aren't just wins, they're shifts. They're really big acts of healing in motion. So look, if you're listening and you're thinking, I want that too, maybe you've got MS, let me just say it's possible. It's possible for you if you are navigating MS or fatigue or perimenopause or just the heaviness of doing too much for too long. Our MS to Success program is here to walk through that with you. We bring together people like Valeria, hormone experts, movement coaches, mindset mentors, and a community of women who cheer you on every step of the way. You can apply to work with us. We have a conversation with everyone beforehand because we've got to see if we can support you. If we don't think we can, we'll tell you that, okay? But you can apply at yourmscoach.com, or you can send us an email at info@mstosuccess.com. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, take a deep breath. Step into the sun and remember you're allowed to rest and receive and rise, and keep listening to your body and keep talk healing to me. The links for Valeria and how to find her and maybe her programs are in the show notes as well. Until next time, keep talking healing. Thank you to our sponsors of this episode. You can visit getcleanboss.com/Karen. And also a thank you to our video and podcast producer and editor, Aoife McNamara at Imagine Media. Thank you.